It's 2023 and I'm still using the original Canon EOS R, so why? Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Finn Badgley. I'm a commercial photographer and all-around content creator, and in 2023 I'm still using the original Canon R, or EOS R. Canon's first kick at the can in the mirrorless world. See what I did there? Since then, we've had the R5, the R6, the RP, the R3, the R5C, the R6 Mark II, the R7, and the R10. So after so many cameras, why have I stuck with the original? I bought this camera when Canon was first coming into the mirrorless world. I let it sit out there for a little bit, made sure that it was actually a decent camera and a decent play at the mirrorless world, and then decided to take that leap. This camera offered a lot of the features that I thought would help with some of the photography that I'm doing. Autofocus features, the video helped me create a lot of these videos on this channel, and it was really that upgrade that I was looking for. I almost, in fact, switched to Sony. I was really on the fence for it for probably 6 months to a year when finally they came out with this offering and I decided to take the leap. Now, having used this camera for the better part of 3 years, do I regret my decision? And more importantly, why am I still using it? A lot of my work is commercial. It's taking photos of people doing things or something along that line. And if you followed me for any length of time, this has been my main video camera that I shoot all of these videos on, as well as my go-to angle for any of my Skillshare classes, any additional video that I do. A lot of the stock video I create even uses this camera here, which is also a great passive income resource if you're looking for some as a photographer or videographer. And don't get me wrong, this camera is not perfect. It has some quirks. The touchpad at the back that's since long forgotten is something that I rarely use. The dials, I do like the placement of them, and I don't necessarily miss, the big old scroll wheel of cameras past, like this guy here, the 6D. Now, while I did love that wheel at the time, the one up top on the R replaces it well enough in my mind. To add to that, I don't even use a ton of RF lenses on this camera. Primarily, I just adapted all of my EF lenses, and the autofocus I found was faster on the mirrorless with the adapter than it was natively on a DSLR with an EF lens, no adapter. And that was enough for me to hold off on buying a lot of RF lenses until I really felt that I need that. Now, that is something that I'm slowly coming towards, is investing in more RF lenses as more are released. I'm a photographer. I'm a content creator. Don't I want the most cutting edge, the best camera, the best glass that's out there? And yes, by and large, I do, but not enough. These are the 3 reasons I'm sticking with the EOS R in 2023. Number 1, my main concern isn't with the camera that I'm using. I want to know how to use that tool like the back of my hand, but at the end of the day, that's all it is a tool. What I'm more focused on is what is in front of my lens. What story am I trying to tell? And yes, making sure I have the right tool for that, but it's not about, the fastest frame rate, the highest megapixels. I photograph a lot on film these days as well, and frame rate is nothing that I could complain about when comparing the two, because with film you're getting, a frame a second if you're fast unwinding it, and I like that it slows me down. It's even slowed me down in my digital workflow where I take fewer photos. But then that saves me time, because then in the edit, I'm not sorting through as many photos. The client doesn't have as many proofs to go through. And at the end of the day, I have more time, which is invaluable to me. So frame rate has never really been something I've been super concerned about, at least in my style of photography. If you shoot sports, if you shoot wildlife, heck, if you shoot a ton of events, frame rate might be way more important to you. But for my style, it's just not. Now comes the second point, which is I am way more concerned about lighting. If you know anything about me, I am a huge lighting nerd. I could go on about it for days, and you know, you could talk about your lighting setups and all this. At the end of the day, story is first. What you put in front of your lens is first, and if your highlights are blown or if you don't have the perfect lighting setup, it doesn't matter as long as the story's there. But your light can tell a lot about your story. So trying to convey emotion through lighting, convey the story through the light that I use and have it motivated is something that is more important to me than the camera that I'm shooting on. So if I can invest more in light and less in the camera, it will end up looking better anyways, because you can have a lower quality camera and better lighting and know how to use it better, and you'll end up creating a better image versus having no knowledge of lighting, having no lighting equipment whatsoever, and using the best, latest and greatest, highest quality camera out there. This is something that I think we're seeing a resurgence too with photography. Is everything for a while was so polished, so tack sharp, and as film makes a resurgence, as we're focused more on the feeling that you get from photos, this clinical nature is falling out a little bit. You know, it's not so much about everything being tack sharp, it's about the overall mood that you're getting from the photo and the overall story. And that's why a lot of people are shooting on film. That's why that cameras aren't top of my concern when it comes to making a great image. Which ultimately brings me to reason number 3, why I'm sticking with the Canon Eos R in 2023. Why I'm not upgrading, because I don't need to. Yes, I could look at getting a better camera, but what's gonna help me take better photos is investing time and money into that. Into test shoots, into working with different clients, into education, learning how to take better photos, into myself, into the work that I'm creating versus putting that money into a new camera. And it's not because I don't have the funds to do so, I just plainly don't want to. It's that simple. And if you want to go out there and get the newest camera that's come out, then absolutely don't let me tell you what to do. At the end of the day, I'm just some dude in his apartment making videos, talking to a camera right now. So I don't know if you can listen to anything I say, but if you're like me, you focus on the actual image itself, how you can get there versus the tool that you're using to make it. And yes, I'm as much of a camera nerd as anyone else. I could talk about specs all day, but at the end of the day, how you create the image, the story that you're telling, is so much more important than the camera you use. Yes, new cameras have a place and the quality you get of them is insane. But at the end of the day, if you have a camera that was released in the past 7, 8, heck, even 10 years at this point, you can take a great photo that you can get paid a lot of money for. Video is a little bit different. If you want a camera that can do both photo and video, maybe you have a little bit higher of specs that you're looking for, in which case maybe anything in the last 5 years will do what you need it to. It's ultimately the person behind the camera and the idea in front of it, not the camera itself. Let me know if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, if you hate everything I said. Regardless, let me know your thoughts down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell to be notified for all future videos. Let me know what camera you're going into 2023 with. And work hard, rest often.